Good morning. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the February 5th, rushed right through the year, February 5th, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I currently serve as the chair of the County Commission. Joining me today is Commissioner Bob Archer.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, before we begin, the sheriff has requested that we pull item D1. It's not quite ready for discussion. So that would be a motion to pull item D1.
Second.
Motion made to pull item D1 by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. And with that, we're ready to start. The first item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 5 items on the consent agenda. Any discussions or questions?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Vouchers are totaling $318,375.23. We have the health insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Dental, and Willis, which is $58,683.23. The detention facility with $50,190.50. And then Fiddler Technologies is $35,647, and that is with the Register of Deeds, the record management system. So I have no questions. Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, District Court, number 1, consider approval of request to expend funds previously approved in 2017 and transferred into a special project fund for audiovisual purchase and installation in an amount of $27,500, and additionally $7,453 from the court's 2018 budget for room 309 and $34,953 for identical equipment in room 320, also from the court's 2018 budget.
Good morning, Charles Heidevis, District Court. As the clerk indicated, we're looking to spend the monies that you allowed us to defer from last year into our special project fund at $27,500. That will go into room 309, which will be Division 12 once we do some changes there, and the $34,953 will go into Division 2, which will be Judge Anderson's civil division upon Judge Hendricks's retirement. And so we're going to be upgrading all of the audio, video, and all the criminal and civils as we've talked about in the past. So these are the next 2 courtrooms that we're ready to proceed with.
Any?
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. Also, a part of this request is to use the award that that you approved back in December, I believe it was. We went out and bid in December and don't feel like there's a need to go out for bid again on this and to use the same vendor that you awarded it to before.
Questions regarding this?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Our next item.
Item C, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C 45-2018 with Media USA to scroll Parks and Recreation ads to viewers at local hotels at a cost of $1,200 with funding from the 2018 operating budget.
Morning, Commissioners. Mike McLaughlin, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. This is for advertising on hotel kiosks at the Capitol Plaza, Ramada Inn, and Holiday Inn. They've shown us some numbers, and we're right up there, just behind Visit Topeka, right where we should be as far as the number of people who actually look at our sites. I will call your attention to a couple of things. We've run this through the county counselor's office. Mr. Brazan has had us attach the contractual provisions attachment, noting that Kansas law takes effect here, not Minnesota law, as it states in the contract. You'll also notice a little math error on their part. They start with an amount of $1,500 and a discount of $200, but are pricing it at $1,200. $1,200 is what was promised us. They actually messed up the first contract and came back and hurriedly on the way to the airport handed us the second contract, and so the math does not add up correctly, but it is $1,200 that we'll be paying.
Questions, Commissioners, regarding this item? Commissioner Archer?
Well, this mentions 60,000 times, like clicks. Would you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, they give us two numbers. There are the total featured, which is about 61,000. That's the number of times our ad passes before someone's eyes on that screen.
Okay.
But if you get into the actual touches, it's more like 6,700. So it's a little bit, it's like media impressions when media are selling your advertising. This is how many people possibly in the world could have seen it, and this is how many actually engaged with it.
Okay. And we've done this, when did we start?
Last year was the first year.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval of the contract.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C46-2018 with Madman Enterprises LLC, DBA Say Cheese Photo Booth, to provide event photo booths during the Daddy-Daughter Date Night event on February 10th, 2018, at $150 per booth.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darlene Streeter with Parks and Rec. The Daddy-Daughter Date Night is an event that's been going on since about 2009. We currently have 80-plus participants. Their fees will cover the photo booth, and Say Cheese is providing the photo booth with props, so the participants have one of those fun little photo strips to take home to remember their night with us.
Any questions regarding
No,
this?
I have none. I'll move approval of the contract.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much. Our next item.
Item D has been pulled. E, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C47-2018, supplemental number 1 to Federal Aid Fund Exchange Master Agreement number 190-16 with the Kansas Department of Transportation, reflecting modification in the exchange rate of 75 cents state funds for $1 of federal funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. As you may recall, the state has a program in which you can exchange federal dollars for transportation projects for state dollars. And when you do that, there's a lot less administrative and red tape costs that come with the state dollars as compared to the federal dollars. Initially, this program set up to be on an exchange rate of 90 cents on the dollar. We were notified this past year that they were going to change that, reduce that down to 75 cents on the dollar. After quite a bit of consideration, we still believe that the 75 cents a dollar is probably more advantageous to us to use state dollars. So it is our recommendation that we approve the amendment, I guess, to the original agreement that reflects that change. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Tom, did we go directly from 90 cents to 75 cents, or was there a stop in the middle at 80 cents or a lower?
No, it went directly from 90 to 75.
Okay. And I understand this is what's being offered across the state to all the counties, not just Shawnee County.
That's correct.
And is this an issue where the public works directors across the state would be able to join together to say this is not acceptable and we will not sign this?
Well, no, I would say it's not, because really, apparently, the state does not have to offer anything to the other local jurisdictions with the federal funds. KDOT does offer that. They do pass some of the monies down. So, to answer your question, I'd say no, we really don't have, well, we've had meetings and we've had discussions about it with them, but I don't think that would do any good, to be honest with you.
I mean, we talk about this being advantageous to the county, that we would not to have to comply with every federal regulation that there may be. However, isn't this also advantageous to the state in that they're basically sweeping 25 cents on every dollar of federal highway funds?
Yes, I would say that's correct.
Commissioner Archer, do you have a question, or?
It's a bonus. It's a bonus for the state. We're not looking into direct participation because we don't have the personnel and the expertise to do it, or?
No, we believe that the bidding costs will be that much more when you put in all the other requirements. There's a lot of additional administration costs and time delays and things of that nature that we believe results in higher bid costs.
You know,
and higher administration costs throughout the project also.
Okay.
You know, I wonder if this really isn't maybe an issue for the Kansas Association of County Commissioners to take up. I mean, it would seem to me that if all 105 counties did band together and say that we would not find this to be acceptable, that the state would either have to say you take it or you leave it. But we talk about it being advantageous to both sides.
I think if we wanted to pursue something like that, I think that would be the avenue to approach it, as opposed to folks in positions of public works directors. I think you would have more clout coming from a commissioner standpoint.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. I did participate in the off-session season last fall and into December with the Kansas Association of Counties legislative policy meetings. We did present this issue as an issue. I think the response has been sort of lukewarm on this. The Kansas Department of Transportation has suggested that this is to pick up their administrative costs in administering the program, that they didn't really charge the counties in the past. There's some validity to that. Where the actual number should fall, whether it's 75 cents on the dollar or 80 cents on the dollar, I don't think anyone's quite sure or not. So it was an issue that we presented. It's one that I think that most counties felt like they wanted to wait and take a wait-and-see attitude on it before a concerted effort would come forward. I think a lot of them are sort of mixed on this issue.
I mean, I guess my concern is the state of Kansas seems to be relying very heavily on the Kansas Department of Transportation to keep things, the lights turned on. And it seems now that the state is relying on the counties to help subsidize KDOT. And so that's just the county perspective on, as myself as a commissioner.
I think we can expect more and more of that in almost every place where they could find something like that to do.
Commissioner Archer?
I think it's costing us a lot of money. That's the bottom line.
Right.
The projects that we need funding for, we're getting downsized on those. So,
Well,
anyway.
Tom, you might be able to answer this. Approximately how many dollars do we receive in federal highway funds?
Recently, we typically have been getting in about the $1.1 to $1.2 million range. So the impact of this is around $150,000 to $200,000 less. So yeah, I mean that's why it was a little bit of a struggle coming to a decision on which way we would say let's go one way or another, because this that's how it's going to impact us. You know, and then there will be some communities that will, few. I mean, we're an urban county, so we get a pretty decent amount of federal funds sent down to us. But in statewide, I think I believe they distribute about 30 million or so to all the counties. So take 15% of that, that's, is that $4.5 million, I believe? So it's $4.5 million
Extra.
that are not going to the locals, but that the state would be keeping.
Any thoughts, Commissioner
No.
Bueller? So at this time, our options are to take it or leave it. There's not.
Well, I mean, the options are, say, we're not going to enter in this agreement, and we're going to take the federal funds, and then we go through all the additional requirements of using federal funds.
But as far as going to the state and saying, we will not accept 75
Oh,
cents, but.
Yeah,
we
that's
would
a take it or leave it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're left with a bad choice or a choice that's even worse. I say we approve the contract and then let our county councilor communicate our disappointment, disapproval that the state is taking this obnoxious approach. That would be my suggestion.
I'll second that, but I would also, if that was a motion,
Certainly was.
but I would second that, but I would ask that you also reach out to the Kansas Association of County Commissioners to just reiterate this is a issue of statewide importance where we have seen an additional $4.5 million approximately taken from our local governments.
I will do so.
All right. Any additional comments?
No.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of multiple metal commercial waste containers to Waste Equip Manufacturing Company at a cost of $21,042 with funding from the Solid Waste Collections Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a solid waste item. And we went out for bids for commercial containers. And we received several bids, 5 separate bids. And after reviewing the bids, we believe that Waste Equip Manufacturing Company submitted the lowest bid price and met the specifications at the cost of $21,042. It's our recommendation that this award of the bid be granted to them. And again, as mentioned, this is coming from the Solid Waste Fund, which does not take any tax dollars. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions?
I have no questions. I'll move approval of the request.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E3, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of 2 tractors with boom mowers to Heritage Tractor at a cost of $236,678, including trade-ins, with funding from the Capital Outlay Fund.
Commissioner, this item and then the next items 2 through 7 actually 3 through 7 are all in relation to the approval that the commission gave to Public Works for capital outlay purchases. These items are all in relation to that, so I won't repeat that in the next items. But anyway, the first bid was for the purchase of tractors and boom mowers. After reviewing the bids, Heritage Tractor submitted the bid that met all specifications of what we are looking for. And they submitted a bid of $236,678. This amount is quite a bit less than the amount we thought was going to cost, about $310,000. So it came in quite a bit lower than we expected. So we believe we got very good bids. So it was our recommendation that the award of the bid be granted to Heritage Tractor. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E4, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of 2 tractors with side mount mowers to Heritage Tractor at a cost of $185,178, including trade-ins, with funding from the Capital Outlay Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. As mentioned, this is the next item on the capital outlay request. Again, Heritage Tractor is the one that submitted the bid that met all the specifications. And in this particular case, we anticipated this to come in at about $250,000, so we got very good bids again at $185,178. And we would recommend the award of the bid to Heritage.
I move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E5, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of a new SUV-type vehicle to Ed Bozar Chevrolet at an amount of $32,617, including trade-in, with funding from the Equipment Reserve Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is the third request from the Capital Outlay Fund. This has replaced the vehicle that has been utilized by Mr. Flanagan for some time. It's got nearly 240,000 miles on it. It's a 1999 vintage. This bid, I believe we expected it to be around $34,000, so we came in slightly under that at $32,617. And we would recommend that it be awarded to Ed Bozar. If you have something to say.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I would just like a clarification on whether this is, and I do not have my list with me of what was approved by the Capital Outlay Fund, but the agenda says from the Equipment Reserve Fund.
Oh, okay.
I just want clarification on that.
Yeah, it would be from the Capital Outlay Fund. All these are from the Capital Outlay Fund. I don't know if those terms are necessarily interchangeable, but it was from what was approved back in December.
Okay. I'll move to approve the purchase of the SUV.
Let me ask a clarification, because even on the memo, it does mention the Equipment Reserve Fund, not just on the agenda, but on the memo as well. But they aren't interchangeable, correct, Betty?
No, they're not.
They're separate.
Then that would be my error. I was thinking they were interchangeable. So that was
Okay.
my error. What I intended was for the capital outlay requests that were approved back in December by the commission.
So it is a motion to approve the purchase of the vehicle from the Capital Outlay Fund, correcting that on the agenda.
Second, yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E6, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of a new survey vehicle to Shawnee Mission Ford at a cost of $45,411, including trade-in, with funding from the Equipment Reserve Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. It's the same request as before. This is to replace the vehicle that our survey crew uses out in the field. And again, I think this one came in slightly under what we had estimated. I think we were thinking, if I remember right, $48,000 to $50,000 for this one. And again, this is the Capital Outlay Fund as opposed to what's listed there as Equipment Reserve Fund, and what was approved by the commission back on December 11th of 17. If any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I'll move to approve and let the record reflect that it is from the Capital Outlay Fund.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer,
A second.
second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E7, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of a new heavy equipment trailer to Berry Tractor at a cost of $79,240, with funding from the Equipment Reserve Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block, once again, this is the last item from the capital outlay request that we had. This one, too, came in a little bit under what we had anticipated, and so does our recommendation that the award of this be granted to Berry Tractor. And again, it would come from the capital outlay fund.
I'll make a motion to approve the request, noting that it is from the Capital Outlay Fund for the equipment, purchase of the new heavy equipment trailer.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E8, consider approval of renewal of the annual maintenance relative to contract C8-2004 for cartograph software modules at a cost of $17,024.81.
Commissioners, this is the annual maintenance agreement with Cartograph. We use Cartograph software modules for all of our, to track all of our work orders for fleet and signs and projects that we do. And we would split this cost on a 75% basis to Public Works and 25% basis to solid waste, because solid waste only uses the fleet maintenance portion of this. We've utilized Cartograph now for over a decade, and we've been pretty happy with it, and this is just the annual maintenance agreement to continue to do so. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions regarding this?
No, I have none. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
And this would be an opportunity for any department heads or members of the public to address the commission with any items.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ariel Whiteley-Knoll, horticulture agent here at Shawnee County Research and Extension. Well, this week is the much-anticipated 2018 Kansas Garden Show, which will be at the Kansas Expo Center Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is the 9th, 10th, and 11th. In front of you, you have the poster, but that's also available on our website, which is shawnee.ksu.edu. This year's theme is Gardens Around the World, and we will be very excited to see what our over 120 vendors have to show. We really encourage our vendors to get creative with the themes. I know this year, not to spoil too much, we have some gardens from Bolivia, England, and France, and I think they're all going to be really spectacular. In addition to finding this information on our website, it's also available in the Topeka Capital Journal. They had that special insert that's got a lot of great information about the garden show. In addition to our booths, we also have our educational seminars, which is really where K-State Research and Extension comes in. We personally line up those seminars to make sure that they're giving out just the best garden information possible and ensuring that it's factual for our residents. It might seem a little odd that there's snow on the ground, and we're talking about gardening, but this is actually just the ideal time to plan. It'll be nice and warm inside, so it's really the perfect time. A few of the speakers that we have this year, we have our own John Wellborn from the Shawnee County Weed Department talking about invasive ornamentals. We also have Dr. Raymond Cloyd from K-State talking about the top 10 bugs in your garden. And another that I'd like to highlight, we have two of our Shawnee County Extension Master Gardener volunteers, Diana Hirschberger and Brenda Jarbo, talking about how to start a community garden. These are just three of the many topics that we get questions on in our office, and I think that they will be worthwhile to our Shawnee County residents.
Good morning, Lisa Martin, Shawnee County Extension FNEP and SNAP-Ed agent. And we are so pleased to be able to offer some food safety programs as well on Friday. I am doing two on Garden to Plate, food safety in the garden, and then Susan Fangman and I are doing one on preserving food safely. We've had kind of a resurgence of people wanting to preserve their food, and of course it cuts down on waste when we get into harvest time. But there's still a lot of things out there that people are doing that can make the food unsafe, and then we have to call in the health department to figure out what happened. So anyway, again, I'm really pleased to be able to offer those programs as well. So any questions?
No. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mike McLaughlin, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. One more on the garden show. Our horticulture department from Shawnee County Parks and Rec is always pleased each year to team up with the Shawnee County Master Gardeners to build a huge ornate display in the middle of the garden show, and this year's theme will be Gardens of Versailles. And Dave Bartles has already shown me the little model he's built of it in his garage at home. He sits that in the middle of the floor, then everybody gathers around, and they just build in from that model. So it should be something fantastic to see this year. Also, this evening at 5:30, we have a public engagement meeting scheduled at the Lake Shawnee Event Center at Bettis Family Sports Complex. This will be to talk about restoring the historic bathhouse at Lake Shawnee. It's the building in which the Rowing Association currently has some equipment stored. It needs some TLC, some basic maintenance first, but down the road, we could look at it as a possible rental venue. Right now, we have people come in our office wanting to rent enclosed shelters, but they're often already rented or sold out quite a while in advance, so this will give us another space.
Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller, anything?
Just, I know we had a chance to attend the Conservation District annual meeting last week, and congratulations to all the award winners there. It's always a nice annual event to go to, so other than that, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Archer, anything?
I know that yesterday there was a great American sporting event. I think many of you probably saw it. And of course, I'm talking about the Waste Management Phoenix Open Golf Tournament that was won by Topeka's Gary Woodland. So I'd like to say congratulations to Gary and his family. He's really a good guy. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely. And I don't have anything this morning, so our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session this morning, and we will have 2 executive sessions. The first is consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency, which will be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship related to the county's contract with Roadrunners Hockey, LLC, and that would be for a period of 20 minutes. The second executive session would be to discuss personnel matters related to non-elected personnel, to discuss the management structure for reporting directly to the Board of County Commissioners, and that would be for a period of 10 minutes. So, doing simple math, 30 minutes total for executive session. And that's a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer.
I'm just going to say point of information. It's one executive session to discuss 2 items.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't want them to think we would be coming back in 20
No.
minutes. Okay.
No.
Just for clarification.
Some people suggest doing that. I fall on the side of, as long as we're identifying the topics that we're talking about
Okay.
and the time that we're using in those topics, we're not going to, I think that's form over substance.
Okay. Well, I know there's been a lot more scrutiny
Yes.
on executive sessions and the descriptions thereof, so I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any misunderstanding there.
Just so
Thank you,
everybody's-
Mr. Chair.
Just so everybody's clear, we'll be back in 30 minutes or less, not 20 minutes and then 10. So, motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. We're in executive session.
Very quickly, was the campus association attorneys, the organization attorney?
We're back in session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.